Do you know the story of the crippled emperor? I don't get on social media very much, but even I have seen people talking about people thinking about Rome on a daily basis. And since I feel like that in some ways falls into my wheelhouse, I have some thoughts. Now, if you have been thinking that you would like to think about Rome, but you don't know where to start, I have a good suggestion. Or if you already think about Rome, I might have a suggestion that maybe you haven't read. In 1934, there was a book published by Robert Graves called I, Claudius. I, Claudius tells the story of Tiberius, Claudius, Caesar, Augustus, Germanicus. Five names. Mostly it goes by Claudius. It's an interesting book. It's fiction, but it's written in the first person, so it is written as though it is the autobiography of Claudius. Historically, Claudius was known to have actually chronicled his life, but that has been lost, and as far as we know, no one has a copy of it. So while I, Claudius is fiction, Robert Graves did draw from historical sources to kind of flesh it out and to give it the texture of a story. It's really quite good. It's written as though it was written by Claudius, so it's written like a diary or a autobiography. And it begins when he is kind of a disadvantaged cripple. He's part of the royal family. There's a lot going on around him. There's a lot of intrigue. There's assassinations, there's poisonings. I think I mentioned intrigue. There's quite a bit of intrigue. Sometimes fiction is a good way to discover history. So if you've been thinking that you might like to learn about Rome and you're not sure where to start, and maybe you looked into it and you looked up Tacitus and saw that Tacitus wrote 10 or 12 volumes. I don't even know how many volumes Titus Livy wrote, but there's a lot to look at. Sometimes fiction is a good way to introduce yourself to a subject, or if you're already interested in the subject, to just kind of explore a different angle of it, or to put things in the context of a story. Sometimes it helps make things more interesting because fundamentally history should be about people. It shouldn't be about dates and just places and dry things and dust and bones. When a story is told well, I think a story can do a lot to give us an idea of what was happening at a certain period. All right, so I won't ruin it for you, but like I said, if you've been thinking about Rome or you want to start thinking about Rome and you don't know where to start, try I, Claudius. It's a really good book. I actually have not read the text. I listened to the audiobook. And the version I listened to was narrated by Nelson Runger. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a short book, but it kept me really interested. And even if you haven't been thinking about Rome and don't care about Rome, but you've been thinking about a good book to read or listen to, it's a good choice. So, that's all for today. Go read a book.